Geek, nerd, and a dork. Well, I've heard the argument of geek and nerd before, but never a dork. Oh, man.
That's really hard.
That's a tough one.
Oh my gosh.
Good question.
Okay.
A geek, nerd, and a dork.
Oh, well, that's easy.
Okay, I got this.
I think they're all grouped together pretty much.
Really?
A nerd is a person who's kind of like, they're really smart. A geek is like a person who's into the comics and everything. And a dork is just a person who's a sore loser or something like that.
So I think a nerd is more specifically like science and math. I think a geek is more pop culture that's out of the mainstream. And I think dork is an insult from people in the in crowd about the people who would consider themselves geeks.
I'll adopt that.
I think geeks are people who come out and do this stuff while nerds just enjoy it, but they don't actually go out to do it. And then dorks aren't really the nerdy side. They're more academics, I guess, but they're all lovable in their own way.
A nerd is a book-learned smart guy who's socially awkward.
I'm going to have to go with the argument that the geeks, they're more of the specialized.
A geek is a person who plays video games and reads comics. Nerd is somebody who's actually smart.
A geek is someone who's really into whatever. You can be a geek about cars, you can be a geek about comics, you can be a geek about military hardware.
They put so much emphasis on what they love that they go out and actually make a career out of it. Nerds are kind of very more knowledgeable, but don't necessarily follow through with a degree or make it a career. It's more of a hobby.
A geek is someone that likes geeky things like comics and movies. Like, they know so much about this one thing that they obsess over, like a movie or a show or something. I think that's a geek, like someone who's in a fandom. And then a nerd is someone who's probably like more smart, I guess.
And a dork is just a mix.
Well, technically speaking, a dork is a whale penis, but
A dork is who gets beat up in the bathroom.
actually a dork I would think would be someone who's kind of more like, I wouldn't say smart, more like, I don't want to be mean.
And a dork, I don't even know.
Yeah, like just sort of.
A nerd is more book smart. A dork is somebody who's kooky, crazy, and a little bit out there.
I would say everybody who's considered a geek or a nerd falls under the category of dork. So we're all dorks together.
Dork? I don't know. I guess that one kind of can fall into whichever category, but they are different.
A geek is more internet savvy in the social realm than opposed to a nerd.
I think geek's more like maybe pop culture type, person who likes certain video games or something like that, certain, fan stuff.
Whereas a nerd may not be as socially interactive. I guess they have more inside knowledge into the technology.
But I think nerds more like, I think like math, science, that kind of like intellectual stuff.
A dork is just all out, total fanboy. I don't think it has to be just the comics. You can have dorks that are just really passionate about something, but with no knowledge and no social interaction, I'd say that's probably a dork.
Dork, it's just somebody who's not cool. See, geeks and nerds are cool. I don't know, a dork is somebody I would call somebody who's not cool.
Probably a nerd is someone who's like a big fan about something. They know a whole bunch about the universe and stuff that it's from.
Well, I think a nerd is definitely someone who's into the comic books and video games and stuff.
Nerds are okay. They're cool as long as, they stick to the nerd code. I guess nerd would be whoever likes things such as Comicon, stuff that's awesome.
A geek I would classify probably more is like the computer guy. The guy that can, my computer's broken, help me please.
Geek is, I'm guessing, more school-oriented.
And then a dork would probably be someone that thinks they know a lot about their fan universe or a computer, and then they really don't.
And then a dork, might not necessarily be into that stuff. They're just kind of awkward.
I say that more hipsters say they're geeks because, you know, the shirt
Okay.
says geek, yeah.
And then a geek would probably be the kind of people that are like super smart and then super into like comic books and everything. So they're like a super nerd or something.
Dork is just like, you dork. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just,
Like the nerdy glasses, the everything.
yeah.
If anyone calls me that, whether they're actually trying to insult me or not, I take it as a compliment because it means I get excited about things.
Yeah,
And what's bad about that?
Nerd is definitely a term of endearment among friends and among my friends. Like,
It was dork for me.
yeah, nerd is big time. Like, oh, you nerd.
How you're acting at that time kind of way. You can be dorky, you can be geeky, or you can be nerdy when you just don't care.
I would agree with that, but at the same time, I want to suggest that's a trick question. They're
Like-
all synonymous.
Pretty much. But yeah, dork is more like, sort of more like a loser, but not like in a bad way.
Anyone who greatly enjoys anything and is not afraid to show it. That's what I think all those three words are for.
I think it's all is in the perception of the word. Everybody has their own perception of nerd, dork, geek, and they all end up meaning something relatively similar, whether it's positive or negative for whoever.
I would like to think I'm a hybrid of all three.
None of the above. Most of my friends don't even know that I come to these things.
I'm a nerd. Yes.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that.
What are you?
Be proud of it. I'm a nerd too.
You're a nerd? Okay.
I am more of the geek.
I guess I'm the nerd because I'm in honors. So
Nerd geek.
I'm a dork.
Nerd.
Nerd.
I would probably say that I'm mostly just a nerd.
You're the extra.
Probably a geek.
I'm gonna go with geek.
All of them. Gorks, yes. Geek dork.
Well, I don't want dork. That sounded really bad. I'll go with nerd then.
A dork.
Geek. Yeah.
Oh, I'm a dork now.
Oh, yeah, you're sorry. It's okay, you're a girl. You won't get beat up. So.
I would go so far as to say geek, because I actually did follow through with a career on mine. I was a band geek in high school, and I joined the armed forces and was a band geek in the armed forces.